Hello everybody and welcome to the Derek Ruby Show. I am your host, the previously mentioned Mr. Ruby, and you know, a few years ago I saw a video from Chris Duckman, and it was a rant about moviegoers. Chris Duckman's a pretty big YouTuber, a lot of you probably heard of him, maybe some of you haven't. But if you haven't seen that video, you should watch it, but I thought I would add to this. So this is my video titled, Things That You Shouldn't Do at the Movies. Now, most of us like going to the movies. We hear about that new summer blockbuster coming out or that sequel we've been waiting for. Sometimes you just want to take your family out to go watch a kid's movie. Sometimes you're out there on a date with either your girlfriend or your wife. And it's not cheap. It costs a lot of money to go to the movies. So when you go, you kind of want to get what you pay for and you want to have a good time. But there are just some people out there, due to their own ignorance or they just don't give a fuck, that try to make your movie-going experience horrible. So this is my attempt just to give some tips for etiquette in case you do go to the movies. And if you're one of these people that do this, please stop. So first things first, and it goes without saying, don't talk during the movie. You know, it's one thing to talk waiting for the movie to start, or even to say a couple things during the previews. You see people texting, I kind of don't mind that as long as the previews are going, or the opening stuff about your popcorn and to buy a soda and the rules of the theater and all that, that's one thing. But once the movie starts, shut the fuck up and stop texting. So if I go to the movies and I take my whole family to go watch something like Toy Story 3 or whatever, especially if I'm watching it in 3D, you know, just on the tickets alone, I'm going to spend $50-$60 easy. And if you add in all the food and everything, I'm probably going to spend about $100. And so we're all trying to watch this movie and you just won't shut the fuck up. Have some respect for your fellow man and for the people around you and be quiet. You're not at home, you're at a public theater. The next thing you should never do at the movies is don't shout at the screen. Now, it's one thing if there's a spot where everybody's laughing or everybody's cheering. You know, there's certain instances where that's okay. But don't just endlessly shout things at the screen like you're part of the picture. Because you're not. I mean, hey, I get it. We've all been to the theater where that one guy yells some funny joke and everybody laughs. But 9 times out of 10, that kind of stuff falls flat. And if you're at a horror movie, it's one thing to be scared, but don't just sit there and be like, oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Other people are trying to watch this thing. It's okay to be scared and make a little noise once in a while, but when you do this through the whole movie, all you're doing is driving everybody crazy. So please, just stop doing that. And that brings me to my next thing that you should never do at a theater. Don't bring your babies to a rated R movie. If you have a child that can handle a rated R movie, that's one thing. But why are you bringing a 2-year-old to go watch The Conjuring? It's rated R for a reason. It's an adult subject. We're trying to watch a scary movie and your baby's crying. Now you may say to me, well, Derek, I didn't have a babysitter. And I will reply to you, welcome to parenting. It's part of life. They make these things called Blu-rays and DVDs. You can watch it when it comes out, or you can wait till you can find a sitter. Because it's very disruptive for the rest of us. I mean, if you go to a PG movie or a G movie, you can expect stuff like that. But not a rated R film. Oh, and when you go to these rated R movies with your kids, when you have a movie like Deadpool that constantly says, it's rated R, don't bring your kids, don't bring your kids, don't get upset and make a big scene and take your kids out of there huffing and puffing because you didn't pay attention to all the advertisement. It's not the theater's fault or the movie's fault or our fault. That's your fault for not paying attention and researching what you were going to let your kids watch. So please, pay attention to the rating and don't ruin the movie for the rest of us adults that wanted to pay to go see this. Now here's a real big one of something you should never do when you go to the theater. If you have not taken a bath, don't go to the movies. In other words, if you smell like shit, what the fuck are you doing out in public anyway? I'm sitting there, I got my seats, got my popcorn, maybe got my girl with me, we're about to watch a film. You come and sit next to me, and you smell like you just got out of a sewer. What the fuck? You're actually walking around in public like this? You know, I'm not here to try to criticize everybody in the world, but hey man, if you smell bad, you know, I'm not going to tell you what to do when you're out and about on your own. But don't come to the theater and make us all have to deal with that. Have some self-respect. I mean, if you were about to sit down and have a meal and I were to just go over there with a rotten pile of cheese and a big pile of shit and leave it right next to you, would you be happy? No, you wouldn't. And as the late great Andy Kaufman would say,
I know that you probably don't know what this is. You haven't ever seen one of these before, but it is called soap. Matter of fact, if you're sitting at home now, you can maybe kind of repeat after me and say soap. Say soap. S-O-A-P. Soap.
Make yourself at least tolerable before you go to the theater and make the rest of us suffer. And finally, the number one thing that you should never do at the theater is disrespect other people. Don't think because you're some AFC Stubbs member or whatever, if somebody was ahead of you, got into the line, don't walk over there huff and puff when you weren't even there and yell at them. Don't kick people in the back of the head while you're watching a movie. And don't make a big scene about every little thing that happens. Have respect for other people. Put yourself in their position. Treat others how you would like to be treated and quit making an ass out of yourself because that's how everybody looks at you. This goes for people of all ages, whether you're an elderly person, a middle-aged person, or a child. When me and my girl went and watched Straight Outta Compton, a whole bunch of kids who weren't even around in the 80s all started getting up and started yelling at each other. I thought we were going to have a full-scale riot, and about 20 or 30 of them went outside and left the theater to go fight. Man, these kids watch a gangster movie, they get all riled up, they start yelling at each other, ruining the whole movie for everybody else who's there that's just trying to enjoy a great film, and again, just no respect for anybody else. What's even worse is that the theater let all these people get away with this. So if you have the tendency to want to fight people while you're at the movies, I recommend you go do some training in MMA or do something else to let your aggression out, but don't go to the movies. So just for positive reinforcement, let's do a quick recap. Shut the fuck up. Don't shout bullshit at the screen. Don't bring babies to a rated R movie. Take a fucking bath and respect other people. If you do all those things, you will probably have a wonderful time at the movies, and so will the rest of us. And your fellow moviegoers will appreciate it greatly. So please, if you're one of these people that do this, just stop. And if you're not, I wasn't even addressing you anyway. So that's just some helpful tips and things that you should not do at the movies. So thank you guys for listening to The Derek Ruby Show. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. And as always, have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. But once the movie starts, shut the fuck up.